Good morning, everybody. It's Teresa. It's Stampin' with Teresa. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I was having some technical difficulties getting set up. I am going to get in on my tablet here. Okay. See if I can see myself being live. Okay. And I can see myself. It looks a little shadowy, a little bit of a glare, so let me adjust the lighting a little bit. How is everyone today? Let's see. Okay. I think we've got some good lighting here. All right, let's see if, I don't think anybody is on yet. Let's see here. And I can see myself. It looks a little shadowy, a little bit of... Okay. Well, I don't know if anyone's actually on. Trying to figure out how to get my comments to show up. Oops, okay, here we go. Sorry, you guys. Okay. All right. I can't see the comments, so hopefully, if there are any, my apologies. And my apologies for getting a late start, you guys. So I'm not going to go through too much business today, except to tell you that last week I was not able to get my projects from last week's live up, but they are going to go up today, and I'm going to have project sheets available on my website today. And then I will also have the projects up for today's Facebook Live on posted today. It's just a second taping of my actual cards, but without all the mumbo jumbo of going through live. So it's just the tutorials, and I'll do a project sheet in dimensions. Okay, well, today we are going to feature the lovely lily pad dyed from the Celebration catalog. And this is such a very, very beautiful set. It comes, the only way to get these things is for free, which is pretty cool. But it comes with a purchase. It's free with purchase. So for example, the stamp sets that we're going to use today are the lovely lily pad. And this is actually a reversible stamp set, meaning that you can each stamp, it looks like there's a ton of stamps here, but when you look at the actual stamp set itself, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stamps, but each stamp is double-sided. So what that means is you stamp it one way and then you flip it around and stamp it the solid way. So these stamps are reversible. This is a patent pending technique that Stampin' Up! Came up with. And they have a few sets now with that technology, and it's pretty cool. So as you can see, the stamp set has some beautiful lilies, water lilies, and then some lily pads, and then some water and some foliage. So we are going to go crazy with this suite, if you will, today. It also comes with dies, or their dies are also available. So if you spend $100 on Stampin' Up! Products, you can choose this die set for free. If you spend $50, you can choose this stamp set for free. And what's even more fabulous, we've got the lovely lily pad paper. It's called Lily Impressions Designer Series paper, and this is absolutely stunning. It's in a Monet type of style. So it's a 12 by 12 set of paper. So, and again, free with $50 purchase. You can't buy these. You can literally only earn these. So our cards today are going to be made with a little bit of everything, and then plus the Peaceful Moments stamp set that we are going to include, and that's from the new mini catalog. And that stamp set is actually the set that I'm giving away this month for people who place a qualified order. You'll be entered in a drawing to win the stamp set. It's some amazing sentiments, and it's part of our Peaceful Poppy suite. So we're going to be using a few stamps from this set today. I kind of like to think of this class today as kind of a life moments type of class. So we're going to be using a little bit of everything from this suite. Let's start by showing you the Lily Impressions Designer Series paper. Again, it's a 12 by 12 set of paper, and it comes with 12 sheets, which is two of each 6 double-sided papers. So you can see I've got the 2 sides here. And it's just really lovely. And then talk about color coordination extraordinaire. This literally coordinates with 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of our colors. And you can see here we've got Lovely Lipstick, Mellow Mambo, Flirty Flamingo, Grapefruit Grove, Granny Apple Green, Garden Green, Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, Bermuda Bay, Pretty Peacock, Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape, and Blackberry Bliss. So just lovely. And then I went ahead and cut out all the dies and stamped out all the stamps on this page here. So just like I showed you in that stamp set before, here are all of the stamps and stamped with their double-sided colors behind it. So I stamped this in Lovely Lipstick and, or was it Mellow Mambo? I think it's Lovely Lipstick. Lovely Lipstick and then Flirty Flamingo. This is Flirty Flamingo full strength. This is Flirty Flamingo stamped off. And then we have here is Pretty Peacock and Pool Party. And then we have Garden Green ink with the Granny Apple Green behind it. And then down here we have the dies, the die cuts. You can see that they cut out these lovely detailed dies, and you can use these in a lot of ways. And here I cut one out to show you that it can kind of coordinate with this large flower. You can see that it fits right over that. And I think this one will do the same thing here. So in addition to coordinating to cut out these items, we've got this beautiful long stem here as well. So we've got lots of foliage going on with this. So it's just a really beautiful set. So let's put this away and get to stamping. We're going to start out with a relatively simple card, and this is actually just using the dies from this suite, if you will. I don't know if it's actually a suite officially. We're going to use this cool little scallop accent die to work on this card, this first card we're doing today. Let me grab the stuff and show you what we're doing. We are making a standard A2 size card. The base is Thick Whisper white cardstock, and this is measured at 4 1/4 by 11 inches and scored at 5 1/2 to make a top folding card. we have got our 2019-2021 In Color Designer Series paper. This is cut at, let me find my dimensions here. This is trimmed at 1.5 inches by 5 1/4. And this is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to kind of set it right there. We've got some scraps for punching. We're going to use our, it's called the Label Me Lovely punch today, right here. This is new in our mini catalog. And then I've got a scrap of Seaside Spray to go ahead and we're going to die cut this guy right on there. And then we're using the stamp set called These Are the Moments We'll Look Back On With Joy from our Peaceful Moments stamp set. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. Let me see. Okay, I'm actually going to die cut today using the Big Shot, and to kind of show you how to do it if you've never used a die cut machine before. It's kind of a beast. Okay, so I'm gonna just pop this right in here. And it's really as easy as this. Just run it right through. And with our dies, they're the wafer thin dies, so you can use any die cutting machine that will cut these dies. Stampin' Up! Is coming out with a brand new die cutting machine probably in the next catalog cycle. So I'm hoping this summer. They've already started coming out with the cutting plates and things like that. So that tells me they're getting close. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to poke these little guys out here, get this out of here, and it will come out really easily. Boom. And then all we have to do is just poke out these little guys. Simple. You can come out with your fingers too, but I'm using the pokey tool today. This is called the Take Your Pick tool. It's really cool. It's got a lot of ends. This actually pops out, and there's a little spatula on the end. And then I've got my pokey end on right now. It's the paper piercing tool. And then on the other side, there's this thing that's got this little putty that comes out, and it helps you pick up little embellishments. It's a neat feature. Okay, and it comes with a lid so you don't stab yourself when you're not intending to. Okay, so we've got our paper cut. Let's go ahead and do our stamping. And again, I'm using Seaside Spray, which is a lovely, beautiful blue color. Blues are my absolute favorite color. I'm going to show you a little trick today with the punch too. Okay, so got that inked up, and we're just going to stamp our sentiment. Looks good to me. Close up the ink pad because that's what we need to do. All right, then we're going to punch this out. I'm going to allow this ink to dry just slightly while we wait, but I'm going to take the Seaside Spray cardstock. I am going to punch this. And we are going to take our paper snips, and we are going to just cut this in half, and it does not have to be perfect. Just need to cut it in half. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and punch the sentiment out, and let's do our best to get it as straight as we can in here. Center her up. Okay, I like that. Perfect. We're done with the punch. I love that punch. We came out with a few new label punches this catalog cycle, and I love them all. You know, I have not given this a good crease yet, so let's do that with the bone folder so that lays a little bit more flat. And I'm going to take my glue, and we punched the sentiment, and we punched this label. We are going to make a little shadow with our label punch. just like that on the top and the bottom. This is a way to kind of give a different look to your stamps, and since they're, or your punches. So since it's the same punch, it doesn't overlap on the edges, so nobody will ever know that you cut this in half. So let's go ahead and stick this together. I use the liquid glue whenever I, uh-oh. You guys, I messed up. What a silly goose. That's okay. No one will ever know. You want to put the glue on the back of the curvy ends, not on the sides. Okay. There we go. And I'm a little shaky this morning. My apologies. Okay. And then we make sure that that's lined up, and you don't see this hanging over on the edge. So we'll move that. The best part about this glue is it does give you that wiggle room that I love. And you guys, I am so sorry I cannot see comments this morning. So I don't know who's watching. It looks like we have a few people watching. But if you leave your comments after this, I will go through and answer any questions that you have. Okay. Oops. Okay. There we go. Press that down. Okay. So now it looks like we have a little bit of a shadow around our punched out label. Isn't that pretty? Okay. So this card really can't be simpler. This was literally the hard part, okay? So we're going to use this really beautiful designer series paper. These are actually two-sided. There's 4 patterns in this designer series paper. So this is one of the pattern ways. So the script on the front, and we've got this lovely modern look. I don't know what you'd call that. It's kind of a double-edged teardrop. I don't know what that thing is called, that pattern theme. But what we're going to do is we're just going to show off this little scallop. We're going to put this on here so it just kind of looks like this. Isn't that pretty? And just that little decorative edge is kind of like, makes me think of like a kind of Great Gatsby Art Deco kind of look, and I'm really into that. So I mean, I don't decorate my house that way, but I love it when I go places that are decorated that way. So I'm just going to put this kind of toward the top here of our card. And I just put that glue down that center strip. You really don't need any more than that. And I want to get this kind of lined up against that edge so it's even at the top and the bottom. This one's a little bit tricky because of the scallop and the design. It kind of throws my eyes off a little bit. And then we're just going to glue this guy. Just put some liquid glue there. Make sure your script is up, and we're just going to place it. We want it to line up with the top and the bottom and just look really even on this side. And I think that looks really good. Now, if you don't have the punch, you don't need to worry about not having the punch. You can always stamp your sentiment right directly on this card. There's enough space that you can make a really simple card and do that. And if you don't have the dies, but you just have some paper, this is just the world's simplest layout. It's a just beautiful, simple card. You've got just a strip of paper and a sentiment, and boom. So we're going to pop this up on dimensionals though, because you know my motto, why not take every opportunity you can to add dimension? Okay. Just kind of putting them in the corners here. All right. Take off that release paper. And just put this right here. There's a little fuzzy on the side of this. All right. Just kind of make that so it's straight and it's equidistant between the edge of the designer series paper and the edge of the card. And that looks great. And this is a really pretty simple card just like this, but I mean, let's add a little something something to it, am I right? So we are going to add some of these Seaside Spray faceted dots. And this is a really nice pack of embellishments. You can see I haven't really used that many of them, and I don't know why, because I think they're really pretty. I think part of it is I just really don't use the in colors as much as I should. It's just a shame. So we're going to do 3 because I like to work in the design principle of things in 3s or odd numbers. We're going to put the big one there. We're going to put, this is like the Goldilocks, that's the daddy. Here's the mommy. And then we're going to put Goldilocks, little tiny one, right here. And just like that, you guys, we have a beautiful card. Really simple. And the nice thing is the sentiment is ambiguous. It could literally be for anything. So these are the moments we'll look back on with joy. Birthday card. Just thinking of you, and maybe you're sending photos from a trip that you took with a friend. So anyway, it's just beautiful. And glad we could show that to you. So let's go ahead and move along to our next card. There's a little bit more involved with this one. I'm going to clean off the stamp real quick. Just using my handy dandy Kirkland baby wipes. Okay. This next card is going to use more stamping, and we're going to use the lovely lily pad stamp this time. And it's going to use some more die cutting. So this will be a treat, and it's going to be really pretty. Pulling out my cheat sheet. There's my sample. Okay. This one's going to be fun. This one I'm going to show you how to decorate the inside of the card and the envelope as well. Again, we're using the thick Whisper White cardstock. This time we have trimmed it to, this is 5.5 by 8.5, and we scored it at 4 1/4 for a side folding card. We're going to take our bone folder and crease that edge. Here we're going to use some vellum. We're going to use the leaf punch today. Let me grab that. Forgot to pull that out. We're using the leaf punch. And since I've got it in my hot little hand, we're going to punch out 4 leaves. So you need your vellum scrap to be large enough to punch out 4 of these leaves. I love adding vellum as an accent to cards. I think it adds elegance, and it's really toned down but really beautiful. Okay, we're actually done with that leaf punch. We have a scrap of Granny Apple Green. We're going to stamp on it and then die cut it. We've got a scrap of Highland Heather. And then we've got our layering pieces. So we have this layering piece, which is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then we've got our designer series paper that's cut at 3 3/4 by 5. Yeah, I'm thinking. And then we've got 2 other little layering pieces here where we're going to actually stamp our sentiment, and we are going to do put our die cuts on here, and it's going to look just beautiful, and so I'm excited to show you. Now we're going to do a couple things besides the die cutting. We're going to emboss, use our embossing folder, and we're going to emboss this layering piece in with our subtle 3D embossing folder, just to give it a little bit of texture. The theme to this card is texture and dimension. This paper is so pretty, and to me it feels like it's got a lot of texture to it. So why not, you know, step up those levels where we can. So first things first, we're going to grab our embossing folder. And this is one of the 3D embossing folders by Stampin' Up. and which requires their 3D embossing plate, which I have, and I'll show you. All you do is you stick your layering piece inside of the folder. Really simple. And there's a little line there so you can make sure that your paper is straight. And we're going to grab our Big Shot one more time. And this time, instead of cutting, we are going to run this through and give this a lovely embossed texture. Go ahead and poke this out. You can get a Sizzix Big Shot at any craft store, by the way. I think I bought this one on Amazon. Okay, you only need to run it through once. Okay, so when you take this out, I don't know if you'll be able to see it well, but it's got this most lovely texture to it, and like it says, it's very, very subtle. And it's on the back too. Do you see that? Okay. And again, it's, as it says, very subtle, so you don't, it adds just a simple little thing. You're not overdoing it, but it just gives it a little something. Okay, let's go ahead and get our stamps out. And we're going to need this medium lily, this little lily, and the large lily pad for this particular card. So let's get these mounted on a clear block. And because we are doing using photopolymer, this stamp was using our red rubber cling stamp, and so this one, because it's got that cushion built into it, you do not need the Stampin' Pierce mat for that, although it doesn't hurt it. Extra cushion is always good, but because we've got the photopolymer, there's no cushion here, so this Stampin' Pierce mat offers that cushion for this. Okay, so let's get to stamping. Okay, we're using Blackberry ink, Blackberry Bliss ink on the Highland Heather cardstock. So we're just going to go ahead and stamp this. We're going to die cut it, so we want to make sure we give it plenty of room around it to add our die cut, our dies. And now the little guys. We're going to stamp 2 of these. Okay, set that aside. And now our lily pad. Oops, I almost put that in Blackberry Bliss. Silly me. We'll leave that open actually because we're going to use that for the sentiment. Now we're going to take Garden Green. And this is just giving it that tone on tone look. Okay. I didn't like that. Do it again. Beautiful thing about paper. Don't like it the first time? Flip it over. Hold that down. Much better. Okay. And I need to pull out the sentiment for this one. With this one, we're going to do a sympathy card because unfortunately we have those times that we need to let someone know that we're thinking of them when they've lost a loved one. And these are the cards you don't want to have to make at the last minute. These are things that you want to make beautiful and when you're not sad. Okay. Now, this one I'm going to practice on a scratch paper first because I want to, this is going to be the panel that goes on the actual card I can flip it over, but I can only flip it over once. Okay, so I'm taking the Blackberry Bliss and I'm just gonna stamp it to make sure. Okay, and I just need to cheat my wrist a little bit to the left, it looks like. Okay, so we're gonna stamp this right in the bottom right corner of this card, of this little layering panel. Perfect. Love it when that happens. Okay. So now it is time to die cut. We got our stamping done. Move that out of the way. And we are going to change out the platform. I'm using the magnetic platform. And we are going to grab our dies. We're actually going to have to run this through twice because we're doing 2 of those lilies. So this is magnetic, so these should stay in place pretty well, but sometimes the magnetic plate can be fussy, especially with the little guys, and doesn't want to. The magnet will tell you where things will go. Unfortunately, you can't tell it. It's science. Okay, physics, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what's the law of magnetism. Okay. Yeah, I'm fussy, I know. Okay, let's grab our plate. All right. This is not a detailed die. It's literally only cutting out the images, so we only need to run it through once. And that pops right out. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. And there's that. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. All right. And then let's go ahead and cut out this lily pad and cut out the second lily. These lilies are just so beautiful. What do you guys think? They're beautiful and they're free. Of course, you have to buy something to get it for free, but hey, who doesn't want to buy some craft supplies, am I right? I know I do. I am my #1 best customer. Always have been. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I was looking through my records because last week I was like, I think I joined in 2006. Actually, I believe it was 2008. So I'm kind of a liar. Unintentionally, of course. I'm getting kind of, you know, aged in the brain. So things kind of, you know, kind of mesh together for me these days. All right, you guys. And just like that, we've got all of our lilies and our lily pad. Now, normally I would pre-die cut all this stuff, but I really wanted to show you guys the die cut situation because I know we've got some beginners and never stamped stampers on here, and just want to show you how easy and kind of demystify the die cutting process and the embossing folder process. And they just add such beautiful accents to your cards. So okay, real quick, I am going to clean these stamps off because I'm ever paranoid about dropping my project in wet ink. And, well, it's not really paranoia if that sort of thing actually happens, right? Because believe you me, it happens all the time. Which is why I try to stay disciplined with this part of it. So, and hey, this is real life stamping, so you might as well see how I do my work. Okay. We got those done. All right. Set that die aside so we don't lose it. Now comes the time to assemble our card. And we're going to use a combo of liquid adhesive and dimensionals. Okay. We're going to glue this designer series paper to the embossed folder. Now, if you're a snail adhesive girl, you like the dry adhesive, two-sided tape type of thing, I would still recommend you use liquid glue when you're using something, when you're gluing something to an embossed panel. The texture raises it up and gives it kind of uneven surfaces, and so the glue is able to wick into the you know, the grooves, if you will, of an embossed piece of paper. The snail's kind of flat and it doesn't really adhere as well, in my opinion. Okay. So we're going to just glue this directly to our card base. You guys have seen me do this before. Okay. But the fun part is putting together this and layering it up. I want to show you something kind of fun. We have this ribbon called the flax ribbon. It's Whisper White. And it comes with all these little strands in this thick piece, and it's really pretty. It adds kind of that country texture. But you know what? I want just some small threads. I don't want this whole thing. So you can kind of cut it and then separate it a little bit and just simply pull out strings. Just like that. And I want 3. So I'm taking 3 strings out. There we go. Let's set that ribbon aside. Okay, so all we have to do, we're just going to tie a simple bow around this white layering piece with our sentiment on it. I'm going to do this first before I start assembling the lily pad main accent. Okay. So we are just going to tie this in a simple bow, and it's got 3 strands, so it's going to be a really pretty bow with 3 strings. Go ahead and pull that tight. Don't be afraid to bend your paper. So when you tie your bow, your fibers inevitably loosen up. See if I can tie a bow on camera in front of everybody today. Oh, look, I can. Yay! Look at that. Okay. And see how that loosened up? And I don't like that. I'm going to do it one more time. Sorry, guys. I'm picky. You could tie it in a knot if you wanted to, but I don't want that bulk of a knot. So I'll just pull it a little tighter. I'm curving the paper, but don't worry, it's going to go back to normal. It's not hurting it. There we go. Much more snug fit. And then, okay, those loops are a little big for me. I'm going to hold that knot down in the middle and pull on those tails, just like that. This is an easy way of adjusting, and we'll go ahead and just pull them a little bit tight. Beautiful. I'm going to grab my ribbon scissors, and I'm going to cut these tails really short because I don't want it to obscure the sentiment. Really pretty. So now we get to play around a little bit with our placement of our die cuts. Aren't those so cute, you guys? So sometimes when you die cut, it puts a little fuzzies on the edge, and you just kind of see how it's leaving little, I call it little paper fuzz. It can be a little hairy, but you just use your nail and it just peels right off. And it's barely noticeable. I just notice it because I am one of those picky people. Okay, so I want this to look kind of like have this here, and then I want these off to the side, and then I'm gonna want this popped up like this, and then we're gonna place these vellum leaves in between, like it's gonna be like our baby's breath, if you will. So first things first, let's just glue. You don't need much. These little lilies onto the sides, just like so. Okay. Looks really pretty. Okay, and we're going to use a dimensional. Put it towards the bottom there. Let's go ahead and give this some dimension. I'm going to stick this down a little bit lower than the other two as well. Oh, look at that. I tried to stick it to that thing. Okay. No, that's a little too low. Hold on. Okay, perfect. All right, and then let's just go ahead and commit this. I'm not afraid of commitment. So we'll just go ahead and stick this right on here, and we're gonna double dimension this. Right here. So this way it will be equal on there. That's a double raised piece. Okay. Take those backings off. It's kind of funny because our first card we made was really simple stamping, and there was a die cut just for an accent, but you really didn't need it. But I just liked it, so I wanted it. And then this card is stamping and die cuts with the coordinated. Our next card, the only stamping is going to be the sentiment, and it's all going to be die cuts. We're not even using any designer series paper on the next card, but you guys are going to just be blown away at how pretty it is. Okay, I'm excited about it. It's my favorite card of this week. So this, we're just going to put some adhesive, and we're just going to poke these down kind of wherever they fit, wherever you think they look good. I think that looks nice right there. It's okay for it to pop up above the paper. We're going to be layering this on this pool party piece right here. Just go ahead and do that. And then we're going to take these and see how these fit. Kind of put these in here. I'm going to cut the stem off just a smidge so we can get it just so it has that appearance of being just a little bit deeper in there. We're just going to put a little smidge of glue here. So pretty. Do you see what I mean about that vellum just adding that certain something? It's just a little something, and it's subtle. And the key is texture and subtlety in this one with our accents. You'll remember that subtle background we used on that main layering piece, and look how pretty that is, you guys. Oh, so pretty. And we've got our little bow. Let's stick that loop on top there. Perfect. If you wanted to secure this down with a glue dot, you totally could. I feel like it's pretty good. I'm not going to worry about that on this one. But if you want to, you do it. Okay, and then we are going to stick this right here. Center that up. Let me pick that up so I can see it. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, one thing about sympathy cards, I have to fight every urge to put like bling on it, you know, like a pearl or like a jewel. But to me, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think it's appropriate to bling out a sympathy card? I kind of feel like it's not quite appropriate. Maybe a pearl, but I just don't think sequins or jewels are the way to go. Maybe I'm just an old fuddy-duddy that way. But I pretty much want to put sparkle on every card. But I have to use restraint with sympathy cards for some reason. Just feels like the right thing to do. Okay. And then we've got this, and we're just going to center this right in the middle. And you guys, this card is just so beautiful. And now you've got a wonderful sympathy card in your stash ready to send. But let's not be done here. because I want to stamp the envelope and the inside of the card to give it kind of a coordinated look. And this is where we're going to break out our pool party and our Granny Apple Green. We're going to do a little more subtle. We're going to take this and we're just going to stamp this small little lily on the outside of the envelope, like so. And on the inside of this card, just subtle, just to give it that extra something. Really thoughtful. And the recipient, you know, usually somebody who's feeling pretty grief-stricken, you know, they may not notice it at the time, but you know, when you go back later and kind of look through things after you've kind of gone through a tragedy and you want to go through some memories, you know, you're going to pull out that card. Number one, they're going to be touched that you thought of them. They're going to be extra touched that you thought of them enough to make them a card. And, you know, they're going to see the extra time that you took to make it really special. And that's one thing that's nice about supporting people through their grief, you know, making them know that they're not alone, they're special. We've all lost someone close to us. And I definitely go through my cards from time to time when I'm missing that person, look at the pictures and... Okay, we're going to put this little stem guy. Isn't that lovely? Really pretty. And we'll do it on the envelope too. There you go. We have a nice little coordinating set. Didn't take too long, and it's just beautiful. Now, if you guys are interested in getting started with stamping, because I do know I have some newbies, contact me. I'm happy to get you started, and especially if you live nearby. Number one, I would just love to have somebody to stamp with because, you know, I like to think of it as a team sport. Alrighty, set this stuff aside, and we're going to move on to our last card. And I'm going to just show you my template first because, well, let me show you what inspired me. I was inspired by the catalog on this one. I was kind of thumbing through it. I knew right away I loved this set. Even though it kind of has that like kind of Zen feel to me, and that's not necessarily my thing, but I love flowers. And then I noticed this card here, and I noticed those gorgeous paper pieced lilies with using these dies, and I'm like, I have got to do this. I'm gonna do this. So guess what I did? I did it. And let me show you some of these that I made. Where did I put them? They may not be in here. They may not be handy. No, they're not handy. I'm sorry. That's okay. Let me show you the sample. Look at this. Would you look at that? I'm particularly proud of this one. I don't usually get super excited about my work, but this one I really love. And I'm going to show you how to make this. And this I chose to make a congratulations card. Now it does have like a wedding look to it. It could be for a wedding. It could be for a graduation. It could be anything. But again, congratulations. We're talking about life moments. Here are the things we need. We've got our thick Whisper White card base. Go ahead and give that a good crease. I did the top folding card. We've got the layering piece that we are going to do the 3D tufted embossing folder. So remember we did the subtles on the last card? We're going to do the 3D on this, or the tufted on this one. Isn't that beautiful? And then we need our little strip. It's a 1 inch thick is what we need. The length doesn't really matter. We're going to do a little fishtail banner end on this. This is what we're going to stamp with. We're going to cut out our die cuts out of these and this sparkle glimmer paper. Look at this. This is my favorite of all of our glimmer paper. It's so beautiful. And these greens, I don't know what made me think of this color combination, but I was just kind of thinking, I knew I wanted to do those flowers from the catalog. I knew I didn't want to use the exact colors that they did in the catalog. And I'm just like, what kinds? I'm like, I want pink. And I'm like, how about Rococo Rose? I have never used Rococo Rose yet. It's one of our in colors. And I'm like, what would look pretty? And I'm like, you know what? Blushing Bride. And it really does. And then I was like, okay, I've never used soft seafoam, and this is the perfect time. And then darken it up with a little bit of Pear Pizzazz. So let's bring our die cut machine back on over, and we are going to use these 4 dies. These detailed dies, this tall stem, and the small stem. So in these 3 cards, we used almost all of the dies in this pack. This set is money well spent, in my very humble opinion. At least for me. I know I'm going to be making tons of cards out of this. So let's go ahead. We're going to need to do, if I'm going to follow this exactly, we're going to do, can't see what I'm doing here. Oops, I set the big shot on there. So we're going to go ahead and let's do our leaves first and the Pear Pizzazz. Stick these on here, and we can only do 1 at a time of that. And we need 1 of these, and we need 2 of the little guys. Where did I put the little guy? There he is. Okay. All right. So I'm using the detailed plate, using my clear plate on top. And because we've got these detailed dies, I am going to run it through once. Rah. And all this creaky, cracky noise you're hearing is totally normal, FYI. Okay. Let's see how these things turned out, shall we? Perfect. Perfect. We're going to need to do 1 more of these. Perfect. Look at that. And these will just poke out so simply. We need to do a second one of these. And that one just came right out too. These just came out perfectly. We only need 1 of those big ones. And let's get these guys off of here. Okay, and let's go ahead and grab this, and we'll do our long stem on this one. The goal is to do as few passes as possible. That's my goal, because I want to get to making. All right, take it through again. And back it back through, because we got that detailed die. Okay. Perfect. Oh, stuck. Never fear. That's what this guy is for. There we go. Again, just to remind you, I cannot see your comments on my tablet today for some ridiculous reason. So I will be following up and answering any questions, responding to comments after this live is over. So we need to do 2 of these. And now is the time for the glimmer. Oh, you guys, I can't believe I forgot. We are using almost all of these because we do need, oh wait, we already used them. They're right here. We need these for the glimmer. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 of the little guys, 1 of the big guys. And here we go. This only needs 1 pass. Boom. And the glimmer paper cuts out so wonderfully. It really does. Okay. So we need one more of each of these. Okay. Oops. There we go. Okay. This must be so enthralling for you to watch all this die cutting. I kid. But I really just wanted to, and normally, like I said, would not do this, but like I said, I know I've got some beginners on here, and I want to show you how easy it is. Okay, we are done with the die cutting machine for today. Oh, I am such a liar. We need to do the embossing. Oh, goodness. What a crazy girl. All right. That's okay. It's only going to take one pass. We'll be good. We're fine. We're fine. I don't know how we're doing on time, though. My apologies if we're running over. I started late. I hate being late, so I'm sorry. As much as I hate being late, it feels like I'm late all the time. Okay. Let's grab our embossing plate. Okay, you guys, this is just magic. Okay, we're gonna just run this through. We only need to run it through once. You're gonna be so amazed at the dimension of this 3D embossed thing. It truly looks like it's quilted. It's so beautiful. Okay, and now for the reveal. Look at that. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Okay, I'm dropping die cuts. Hold on, let me pick these guys up. Can you guys hear my squeaky chair in the background? I'm sorry if you can. Okay, so here we go. Let's stamp real fast, and then we're going to be done, and into assembly. Again, peaceful moments. And congratulations. Let's go ahead and use this one. And this one I'm going to want to do a test. Isn't that Rococo Rose such a pretty color? I don't know why I don't use it more often. I am crazy. Okay, I will now that I've started using it this once. You know, the thing is, Stampin' Up, we just have so many colors and so many choices, which is not a bad thing. But you know when you pick your favorites and you just kind of stick to what you love? And I think I just kind of fall to that a little bit. And actually, by the way, that's one of the reasons why I really love Stampin' Up! Is all of the coordinating colors and everything coordinates. So I find that when you use a bunch of other products from other companies, you know, there's just that the amount of choice out there overwhelms me even further. So, you know, I get into this like creative paralysis thing where I'm like, I can't do anything because I'm overwhelmed with the supplies. So that's one nice thing about Stampin' Up! Is like there's tons of choice, but at the same time, you know, I'm limited to a really good variety, mind you. But you know what? I don't need to worry about picking from 10,000 colors. I've got, I don't know how many there are. There's a lot of colors, but you know, I'm sure over 100 here. But they do a really nice job of bringing in new colors. They refresh our colors with 5 new colors every year, and then every few years they do a refresh too, where they bring back popular colors that may have retired and just kind of, you know, change up the color families a little bit. And that's just perfect because it keeps it interesting. Okay, so I'm gluing that down. And I should have probably started gluing these first, but I didn't. So what we're going to do is we are going to assemble our lilies. And this takes a minute. This is kind of a paper piecing ordeal. And ordeal might be a little dramatic because it's really fun. It's not like it's annoying, but it does take a minute because we need our glue to dry. Okay, so we've got these all poked out. See how simple those came out? All right, I am going to use my little silicone craft mat here from Stampin' Up. This is a nice tool. You can put hot glue, liquid glue, any kind of glue. It won't stick to it. It will just pop right back up. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick these little guys right behind these. And you'll notice they don't take up the whole thing, but that's okay. I don't want that. That's what I want because I'm totally copycatting it from the catalog. And this is what they did. So I'm putting a little bit of glue there. And we are going to stick this right here. And I'm going to set it, I don't want it to show from the bottom, but I want it to have enough surface area to really stick to. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set a punch on top of that and let that dry on that mat. So if glue oozes out, it's no big deal. It's just going on that mat and it's not going to stick to my paper. And we're going to do these now. Again, give them just a little bit of glue. In fact, let's just bring this up here just to give some stickage to the middle. And again, smaller than the detailed die cut, but again, no problem. It's what we want. Okay, really pretty. Stick him under, join them together. And then our third one. Okay, now after these have been allowed to dry a little bit, I'm going to take this guy and we are going to glue. We're going to take the tall stem, the tall seafoam stem on this one, put that in the back. Oh, you guys, I'm so shaky. I'm getting really thirsty too. I need some agua. Okay, and then we're going to glue the little short guy on front. If you hear a teenager yelling in the background, somebody is playing video games with their friends this morning. Okay. But I guess I should be happy that that certain somebody's awake already. You guys, I only cut 2 and I needed 3. What a weirdo. Okay, that's okay. I'm not going to cut the other one, but I am going to look for my samples of extras because I know I've got more. We're going to put the Pear Pizzazz in the back and the seafoam up front. Okay, stick those back under that punch for bonding cure time. All right, bear with me a second. Where did I put? Oh, here it is. I had made a few extras, so we'll grab one out. And I think this is the one we want with the seafoam back and Pear Pizzazz front. Yep. Well, look at that. We'll just go ahead and stick these guys in here. And I'll cut that Pear Pizzazz one a little bit later. Okay. Get those little pieces out of there. Okay, so now it is time to show you what we're going to do with this punch and the sentiment. All right, this punch is great for so many reasons. Yeah, it's a nice shape and everything for a label, but honestly, my favorite part about this is doing a perfect fishtail every time. So you just line your piece up there and boom, you've got a beautiful banner tail right there. Okay, so we've got all of our pieces in place, and of course we're using dimensionals. Okay, so the first thing, before we glue anything down, because we're going to tie a bow around the seafoam green piece here, let's get everything in place. We're going to have this about here. This is going to be our middle. These are going to be on the sides, and yes, we're going to we are going to pop those up on the back, and we're going to cut off their little stems, and that's okay. Perform some surgical maneuvers here. Okay, so let's put a dimensional at the top, and we'll put some glue on the bottom. So let's start with the middle guy. We'll put that about here. So I really like the look of that, it's kind of up top like that. So we definitely want this to go here. So I think we'll just go ahead and snip these. Okay, take this off. I'm going to do this more like right here. Pull that down. Same thing with this. Let's just give her a little haircut. Put a little glue. You guys, we are so almost done. It's not even funny. Okay. I'm going to just stick this up just a little bit, so it's a little bit taller than the one on the right. Okay. Now the trick is to make sure, yep, we're going to be able to cover that stem. Okay, let's put this soft seafoam layering piece down. We're going to stick it just like so. And we're going to make this, we're making it even with the edge of the actual card, not the layering piece. Look, I got some goobery ink over here. That's our glue. That's fun. All right, we'll erase that in a minute. I'll show you how to fix that. See what I'm talking about? Dirty glue fingerprint. Okay, let's go ahead and do our ribbon. We're using that crinkled seam binding ribbon that I'm in total love with. All right, this stuff ties bows like you would not believe. Oh, apparently I wanted the pear pizzazz back with the soft seafoam, or the, yeah, soft seafoam front. Oh well, that's okay. Gives our card character. Makes it look like, no, I wanted it to be weird this way. Either way, it's beautiful. No one's going to ever notice that it wasn't exactly what you intended. They're just going to notice how pretty it is to receive such a beautiful handmade card. Okay, little bow. And go ahead and tie this. Okay. We're going to cut off these tails. Let's see. Did I make these short? I made these short last time. Okay. Because we don't want it to obscure our sentiment. That's right. Now I did something kind of fun with the sentiment. Oops, that's a little long. The banner, I popped it up with a dimensional on the end because I wanted it to have a little bit of dimension there. So we'll put a dimensional there, and we're going to put liquid glue here. And we are going to, well, first we need to take that backing off that. We're just going to line it up right here on this edge of this card. And we have a finished, beautiful, beautiful congratulations card. Now, I promised you I'd show you how to get rid of that stupid glue inky fingerprint, which happens more often than I would like it to. I'm just adjusting this ribbon to make that there. Okay. I have this sand eraser from Tombow. I got it on Amazon. If you want one for your stash, just go ahead and go on Amazon and search for Tombow Mono Sand Eraser. This is the 512A, so I think that must have to do with the grit. And we're just going to take this. And number one, adhesive or erasers are great for removing adhesive. But in addition to that adhesive, I got my inky, oily fingerprint underneath it, so it made it really ugly. So we're just going to lightly work the sand eraser until we get rid of that spot. And you want to go light because it does take away that top layer of paper, so you don't want that to be too obvious. But I'll take a little light tone-on-tone paper wear over a gluey black fingerprint any day of the week. So there's a little pro tip for you. So here we have our beautiful card. You could stamp a sentiment on the inside if you'd like, but I'm just going to leave it at this since we are out of time. We did our 3 beautiful cards today. Let's see, let me pull them all back here. Where'd they go? I don't know where I put. Oh, you guys, I forgot. We're going to accent this with some basic adhesive backed sequins. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot this. This is the most important part. So we're going to do our 3s like we've talked about. We'll just set one here. And I'm using the first one because it seems to go perfect with the pinks and the seafoam green. Go ahead and put one up here. And we'll stick another one over here. Now make sure you press those good in there. They've got a glue dot on the back of them, but you know what? Those things will pop off if you are not careful. So just go ahead and do what you need to do there. Okay, let's take a quick look at our cards. This is our first card. Really simple but beautiful. And then we did our second card, our sympathy card, and our congratulations card. So I hope you liked our projects. Like I said, I will put a project sheet and I will make a video that literally just kind of walks through the putting together of this so you don't have to sit and watch the entire replay of the Facebook Live, and I'll put project sheets up on my website, and then I'll post that to this group so you can link to it a little bit later, and I'll also include all of the supplies. Just a reminder, I do have some specials going on this month. I'm not going to go through them here, but you can read about on the website, so I'll make sure and post a link to those specials. You guys, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for tuning in with me. Next week, we will continue with some more projects. I would like to do some kind of fun fold with you and maybe a treat box. So stay tuned for next week, same time, 9 a.m. Pacific. And I really appreciate your time today, you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Bye.